wanna get it in my name, say my name. What is that?
Fuck a politician, come ride with the boss in the backseat. A lot on my mind, I don't wanna think. She come relax me. Diving at the water, breaststroke. Tell me your thoughts, peep show. Knowing the mission, don't stop. Respectfully. Told her she better say my name.
What's up, Growth Talk fam? We back with another episode. This is episode 13. It's just James and I on this episode. Keep Nay in your prayers. Keep her and her family in your prayers for sure. But we're super excited to just be able to drop another episode and give some value to you guys. As always, if you hear something that resonates with you, definitely hit that like button, share it with someone. If God put somebody on your heart, definitely share it with them. And also whatever resonates with you, put it in the comment section as well. We'll love to read it, and someone else that may be tuning in, they may read that and it may connect with them and they needed that. So without further ado, we're gonna jump right in. I actually got some questions that I want to ask James, just simply because of the season that he's been in with his fitness journey, with prepping for the competition that you just got third place on, bro. Congrats, by the way.
Appreciate it.
But man, a lot of preparation came into that, and I know it wasn't easy. Man, James had to say no to things that typically, he would have been down for, like going out, kicking it, having a sip of wine, maybe,
Yep.
But he was very disciplined and determined, and so I just want to pick his brain, and for you guys just to hear from him. So, bro, tell us about the mindset a little bit that you had to have when you were going through that preparation, and just to simply persevere through. Like, what was the mindset like?
I think it's one of those things where you just got to start in order to get it going. Honestly, in the beginning is always the hardest, and that's like what we talk about all the time. It's like it's always the beginning that you have to, kind of rev your engines up to actually start going. And so I think for the most part, that was, once you get into the process of it and actually stick to it, then it becomes easier. And like I said, it's anything with life. It doesn't have to do with, just prep in general. But I would say that's pretty much the mindset behind it. It's like you have to know your goal. And I said this to a person before, it's like just analyzing myself. I don't really, I go off goals, but I more so have to feel it as it's already happened in order to achieve it, if that makes sense. Because going after goals, I kind of had a different mindset to it. It's like going after goals, it's like in your brain, you don't have it yet. And so that can kind of like hinder someone. And if you know you can be already that person, the goal is already achievable and it's already been done. So then, quote unquote, you don't have it, but at the same time, you already know you're that person that has it. So in order for it to make sense, how I'm trying to explain it is having a goal. Say you want to achieve something in life, then you have that goal. That's considered a goal. But in order to achieve that goal, you have to become that person. And so if you already feel like you're that person, that goal is going to be achieved anyways. And so that's kind of like the mindset I have with my prep. Is kind of like, okay, I needed this goal. This is what I wanted to do. So it makes it easier for me to say no to things because I know what I want to get, rather than, okay, I have a goal I want to accomplish, but I know I'm already going to accomplish it. And it just makes it easier to say stuff like, because I know I'm going on a tangent but now, but I know a lot of things where, how you said in the beginning, it's like you had to say no to stuff that you couldn't do because you was in that season. But it makes it easier when you know what you want to get. And I think that's a sacrifice a lot of people have to understand, to where it isn't hard to say no when you know you want something.
That's real. That's real, bro. I feel like just from hearing what you were saying, it's like you was more so focused on the process than just the goal itself. It was like, okay, I know that this is what, like you said, this is what I want. And it's just becoming that. You're already that. It's just walking through that process, that journey of what it takes to achieve that, and keeping that at the forefront of your mind every day. Talk about your why. Like, what kept you going? Like, because it had to be something. I mean, was it just specifically what you wanted, as far as what the the goal that you had in mind for the competition itself, or was it anything out of that, or that pushed you through?
I don't think it was a while. I think it was more so like from my first one I did of this year. I know I didn't give my all. And looking back at it, it's like I had that kind of conceited mindset, if that makes sense. So I thought it's kind of like the shallow hell effect. If anybody's seen that movie, you kind of look yourself in the mirror, you see something else compared to everybody else. And so I saw myself differently, but in person, it wasn't the same person. This actually kind of goes great with what I want to talk about, is because I was trying to talk to my wife about what topic can we talk about, and which I don't know if this is like a terminology thing, but it's like self-demoralization, because what you just said, basically the process, that's what we was talking about earlier. It's like you have to embrace the process, but at the same time, you can basically say certain things like, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that, and you feel it, but deep down inside, you really don't believe it. And so and I have that issue myself, and I know a lot of people have that issue. That's why I'm gonna talk about it, because one thing for me is a lot of people say, oh, this guy's confident, but deep down inside, I have negative feelings about my confidence, because I'm confident on the outside appearance to everybody else, but I still battle with that myself, because, okay, in your eyes, just for me to you, an example, you might see me as fit, but in my mind, I was like, I'm not to my standard. And say, for instance, I can call you, I'm not saying you're not, but I'm saying you're the best leader in the world. Obviously, got John Maxwell, you got all these other great ones. Not saying you can't be on their level, but I'm saying if I said that and I believe that about you, which I do, but at the same time, you internally might not feel that.
And
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I get what you saying.
So I might see something different in you, just like for her, it's like, okay, if I say you're cute or I say you're beautiful, but internally you don't feel that, it defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
So if you get a compliment,
it don't matter how much the person says it. If you're not feeling it, it's still as if it's like whatever. It's like,
it's like you just blow it off. You're not taking the compliment. It's like, it goes all in what you brought up as far as the questions and of what I want to talk about, because we can give compliments to people, or we can give compliment or get compliments for ourselves, but deep down, do you really believe it? And I think that's a struggle. Like I said, my personal confidence on the outside appearance might be like, dang, it's like nothing can affect him. But deep down, it's like, okay, that just socked me in my heart,
Yeah.
So that's just.
Speaking on that topic, what do you feel like when you're in those modes? Because, like, first of all, thank you for your transparency, vulnerability. That alone, it takes courage, and I think that's confidence in itself. You get what I'm saying? But what I want to speak on about that is, like, when you're in that mode, when you're faced with that, what are some practical things that you may do to kind of help you believe it yourself? You get what I'm saying? And walk in that,
I think you have to just continue to do it. And that's the hard part about it. Because I know when I was in prep, I'll give you a scenario. When I was in prep, at the end of prep, I'm gonna go backwards to frontwards. Okay. At the end of prep, the judges said basically, if I brought in certain things, there was no way I could not win. One of those things where they kept saying, and people kept saying like I was bigger than pretty much everybody on that stage. Internally, I didn't feel like that, because I'm looking at people on the side and I was like, dang, he looked big. But they're saying I look bigger. So it's kind of like one of those things. But the thing I'm getting to is it's all about comparisons. And when like you would see people get posted online, or I'm shared online by the what do you call it? The actual league itself. She was like, okay, he looks nice. She looks nice, blah, blah, blah. It was like one time where she wanted to show me this guy. I was like, I don't even want to look at him. because I don't want to focus on them.
Right.
And so that's what made me, although I did not win, but it made me stay focused because I don't want to focus on anybody else. I just want to focus on what I'm doing. If I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. It's what I'm doing. I don't focus on no one else. So that's what kind of kept me going.
Yeah. That's awesome, bro. Because to piggyback off that, like, that's a part to me of the guarding your mind as well. Because in that moment, you knew, like, you was guarding, like, in that moment, you were guarding your mind, basically.
Yeah.
And that's what it looks like. It's like, okay, I know what may throw me off. It's almost like self-aware. It's not almost like, but it's self-awareness of I know myself. And that's why self-awareness is so key, because then it helps you guard your mind and guard your space and guard your access even more. So I know what may throw me off. I know what may get me distracted or off focus or start causing myself to doubt or question or all these different overthinking thoughts or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, salute on that, because that right there, it was like, you knew, it's like you put into action what you've been, the things you read, the things you have tended to grow yourself. And in that moment, you put into action of what to do in those times, because that's what it's about. It's like, because we're human at the end of the day. We're human. For somebody to sit here and say, like, I don't slip into the comparison, they're lying.
Yeah, it's a lie.
I don't you get what I'm saying? Like, I don't ever start doubting a little bit. You're lying. But it's like, okay, that's why growth is so important. And I think because of the things that you plugged into for your own investment in yourself, it helped you in that moment and to know how to navigate. Because it's not saying anything knocking that other person. It's just for my own sanity and what I'm trying in my focus. I can't look left or right. I can't put any of that in my sight. So that's major.
And I think it depends on, like how you said earlier, like the season as well. So say, for instance, you're in a season of growth, or like, for instance, like competition or anything competitive, or just like even business related. People can inspire you, but sometimes people that you look up to can actually hinder you, if that makes sense, because you see how great they're doing and you automatically think to your mind, like, damn, can I ever get to that point? Yeah. And so sometimes you got to be bold enough to actually just unfollow them until you actually get your mind right to where, okay, you don't look at them as like some godlike figure, but you look at them as now they inspire you. And so until you get to that point of they inspire you rather than like, man, I'm never going to get there, you got to unfollow them. You can always come back and follow them back, but at that time, your mind isn't ready. And so it's hard because it's like, I look up to him, but at the same time, you're now measuring his accomplishment or hers accomplishment to yours, which you aren't there yet. But at the same time, you can't compare. You have to actually trigger to be inspired by that instead of actually comparing it.
Exactly, because that comparison can lead to envy, can lead to jealousy, can lead to so many negative things that we don't like. Like, I don't want to feel that about anyone, right? And it's like, that's why comparison is a thief. That's why in the world that we live in today, social media, it's a lot for people. It's too much. It's good in the sense of I can, the people that I listen to, because a lot of people on my feed I get value from. You get what I'm saying? They're speaking positivity. They're about growth and all of that. But then, sometimes it's just you slip into that. It's a gateway to help to kind of slip you into comparison. And just those that are listening and understand comparison is a thief. Do what you have to do. Put the controls in place, like what James just shared. He basically just gave a control that you can put in place. Unfollow the person. Not saying anything is wrong with them. Not saying that you wish any bad towards that person. Nothing like that. It's just for your own sanity, so you won't slip into that comparison. And also understand too that everybody's journey is different. God may be using them in a totally different way, and then understand social media is only showing you one side of things. We don't understand what everyone goes through and stuff like that. So, but do what you have to do. If you got to put a control in place, do that so you can stay focused on what you're supposed to do.
And also, if you think about it too, it's like half the time, if you're going to be comparing somebody to that or comparing yourself to that person, then
Mhm.
half the time you're wasting more time than you need to be wasting because
Exactly.
you're now analyzing what they're doing. And like you just said, you never know what's on the back end of what they're going through. So
Mhm.
you can be jealous of that person, but you might have the better life.
Right. Exactly. One thing what we can, before we get into this next question, I'll leave you with this too on that topic while we're on that topic. One thing that my coach said that has helped me tremendously is saying to yourself, what's for me is for me. Because what the mindset that it puts you in, it gets you out that comparison with that person. And then it gets you in a place where you're wanting, like, it's like a more of a congratulation. You're excited, you're happy for that person, and you understand that there's God. We have an abundant God, so if he's blessing them, he's gonna bless you. Like, and what's for you is for you, so there's no need for me to hate or compare or to be feel any type of way, because what's for you is for you, what's for me is for me, and everything's happening at the right time. So that helps with my sanity in that way, because like I said, when you've been working hard, when you've been planting and you've been, faithful and all of that, sometimes the enemy will try to slip you to get distracted and start comparing.
Mm-hmm.
And what has helped me is saying what's for me is for me, so I won't slip into that. And that, because that brings out a different energy as well. So
Mm-hmm.
um now, bro, when you was in this process, did you ever feel like giving up at
Mm-hmm.
all?
Yeah, no, but it was different than what people call it giving up, I guess you can say. There were days I didn't want to do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
plenty of those days. But like I said, just sticking to the like a mission. I didn't call it a goal, I call it a mission
I like
because
that. I like that.
you have a goal and you want to accomplish it at the same, at a certain time. Not saying that's a bad thing, but I think having a mission, you never know how long it can take. So thinking of it like a mission, it's like you just have to complete the mission, however long it takes to complete. Kind of like how the only person that popped up in my mind is David Goggins, like how he is always on a mission to come do something, and so you see it as a mission. Once the mission is complete, then you are done. But until that mission is complete, you don't stop. And so, but to answer your question, yeah, I've had plenty of days where I didn't want to do it, not give up, but there are days where, okay, I slept maybe 4 hours because I had to do cardio or eat this, eat that, or work out, and it didn't give me much sleep. Okay, we have those days. I can
Mhm.
either, like you said, give up or I can keep going. At the end of the day, all I can do is look at myself. Did I lose or did I win because of anybody else? No, I lost or I won because of me. And I'm only the one that can dictate that. So that's why I say I don't really consider it giving up, but there were days where I didn't, just didn't feel like it, but I still pushed through it. And that's more of a character type deal,
Mm-hmm.
I would
Speak
say,
on
more than
that.
anything.
Speak on that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say it's more of a character type deal because once you give in, and not saying I'm perfect, I'm not perfect, no one's perfect, but there are certain things where, like, not saying I do still hit the snooze button at times. And I'm not saying I don't, but but I know that's still a habit to where I should not be doing. And like I said, I'm not perfect, but at the same time, that's still a character building process because those times, like we talked about this on one of the podcasts before, it's like those times you hit snooze, you get behind and everything like that. And so that's just a habit you got to break. And it's just like anything in life. Once you start doing it once, then you do it twice, then you do it 5 times, then you do it 8 times, and then it keeps piling up and piling up until you just don't even realize it. And then next it becomes you. So just those days where I didn't feel like it, I still did it. And that's just like one of those times where you just can't give up, you can't give in, you just have to do it. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of people, as far as character wise, when they get to that point, is complain about it or do it. That's
Mm,
the only options, really.
I love that. And I love the accountability that you have with yourself. Like, and y'all that's listening, listen, whatever it is that whatever mission that you have, whatever you're aspired to do, understand you gotta hold yourself accountable. Accountability and ownership is so important because, like James just said, if I succeed in whatever level of success was for him, or if he failed or whatever, that was on him. Like whether he wanted to, like in those times, like he just said, where his body, I'm sure, was going through
Oh yeah,
all different types of
yeah,
soreness. That
yeah,
alone would take you out. They were like, man, let me just rest today. Like
yeah,
my body is sore. So in that moment, he had to make up his mind, like, okay, I can either complain or I can just do it. And he decided to do it, got third place. And it's just phenomenal, man. And I want to talk back about, that previous show, because me and my wife, we was there for that show, and I can just tell on your face, James was like, he had that expression like,
yeah. I was pissed. Yeah,
nah, man, it's like you was ready to get back out there. He was like, man, you just had this look on your face like I'm about to go 1,000 times 1,000. Like,
yeah.
and
It was.
it's almost like I'm not about to sleep until I do what I gotta do type thing.
Yeah, I mean, it was a
But
good experience because I mean,
yeah,
sometimes you just gotta get humble and like you gotta get knocked in your face to actually realize, okay, he was actually just playing around,
mm,
and that's like a wake up call for most people. Like you got to go through bad times in order to realize, okay, this is where you need to, actually buckle down and actually just like step into what you want to become because you can keep playing with around in your life. And like I said, it's not really one of those deals where you have time to waste. And I'm speaking not just to everyone on this, watching this, but I'm speaking to myself. Well, you don't really have time to waste. Not saying you have to put a time limit on what you're doing. It's just like every second or every minute that you don't either put into something or put into your growth or put into your family or put into, spending, for instance, your case, spending quality time. You never know. Like you just never know what happens the next day. And so you have to kind of live. Obviously, the scenario is like, okay, if you were to go tomorrow, what would you do today? I don't consider that realistic, in my opinion. I don't consider
yeah,
because we would do things that we know we should not be doing. Obviously, say you got a job or something like that, and you're like, okay, if you had one life to live, you quit your job. No, you probably would, but in realistic terms, don't think like that today because you
yeah,
kind of need your job. So it's kind of like one of those things. You don't want to
yeah,
just say, okay, I quit, and then okay, what are you gonna do now for income?
yeah, exactly.
But it's just one of those things where that's kind of like a mindset you have to think like. So if you were to do this, it would get you forward in like whatever you're doing. So if you take one step, you get one step forward. You take one more step, you get another step forward. It's like, but if you don't do anything, you don't move.
Yeah,
So it's just like think of it like that, to where if you want to get closer to a goal, you have to take one. You have to start. Like I said in the beginning, you have to start eventually because you're not going to get anywhere with that goal if you don't start.
true. Bro, like I'm just super proud of you. Like just seeing you in this process has been amazing to watch. I mean, I'm not with you every single day, but the little bit that I was able to see from us, being at events and being in other states and cities and stuff like that together, and just us connecting through the community, it's been great to see. I feel like you've grown so much through this process. The man that you are is you're becoming what you see, what God has shown you in you. You get what I'm saying? And it's just a beautiful thing. Keep going, because whatever that keep going is, just keep going, keep doing your thing. And because like you just embracing that, because a lot of people with that previous event, they would have checked out. A lot of people would have been like, man, forget this. You get what I'm saying? Like, and they would have tried to play the blame game on all this other stuff. And you looked within, and I think that's so commendable. And you look the situation in his face, you embraced it. Then you was like, you game plan from there. Like, I'm not about to let this doesn't define me. That result didn't define you. And you did in 3 to 4 months. The trend, y'all, if you have not looked at James' transformation in it was a 3 to 4 month period of transformation. And correct me if I'm wrong, but go check out his Instagram. Like, go follow him on Instagram, go follow him on Facebook. You're gonna get a lot of great value, a lot of great content. But seeing his transformation, it just lets anybody know that it's possible. Like I kid you not, bro. Like maybe 2-3 weeks ago, I was sitting on the couch, like I had just finished my work day, and I started watching one of y'all's videos on YouTube,
Mhm.
and you was working out. Bro, when it was like 10 o'clock, I got up and went to the gym. I said, so keep putting that content out, because no, seriously, because it inspires people. Like, because a lot of times that get, even the strong people, they need that push, right? So it's like that gives them that, they know what they're supposed to do. But sometimes we'll get caught up in our routine and get caught up in our day. And sometimes it's easy to say, okay, man, I just want to sit and chill. But then you have this goal, this mission in mind, this who you see yourself being in mind, right? And watching something like that, the YouTube video and the
Mhm.
content, it's like you having that inspiration. That was the kick you needed to get your ass up, basically.
Yeah.
Right. So like, I kid you not, like that, I went to the gym. I was needed to do a workout that day, but things had happened and I was gonna be like, push it off, like, oh, I'm gonna just get it in tomorrow. But I was watching y'all video, and I got up and I went. It was one of your prepping for this
Yeah.
coming
Yeah.
competition, and it got me up and went to the gym about 10:30 at night, and I got it in, and I was happy.
You
I was
better
like,
than me.
I'm glad I did it.
That's called dedication right there. Forget what everything was going on for 10:30 at night. Yeah,
Bruh,
that's
I'm
special.
telling you. So keep putting that content out, because it's helping a lot of people more than you know, including myself. So keep putting that
And that comes
content
with
out.
surroundings too, because you could have did anything else, honestly. And that's like, to piggyback on that, as that comes with surroundings, like whatever someone's going through or whatever you had going on and stuff like that, just you got to find the energy, like, to
Mhm.
get something going. And
Yeah.
you found our video that gave you energy. And it's like, back to what we talked about earlier, it's like, if you on social media and someone's you're looking at somebody but they're not giving you that energy, you have to be okay with unfollowing. It's not a bad thing, but at the same time, it's either people are either giving you energy or they're sucking away from you. And you have to find those people who are giving it to you that you feel inspired by, rather than, okay, I'm comparing myself to that person.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's true. What did you learn about yourself in this process?
that if I just focus, anything can be possible. And I not just me, anybody can do that, but it's
Yeah.
hard. It's easier said than done, because you can have, I feel like, I say this all the time. I feel like once you want to start something, you always have distractions come out of nowhere.
I
Out
don't
of nowhere. I mean, the moment you say, I'm about to do this, that next day, oh, you get distracted by something.
for real.
Something's gonna happen. And I'm a firm believer that, like, as soon as you want to do something, something's gonna happen. And it's gonna be like, okay, let's see what this happens. See what
Yeah.
that happens. And then you're just like, okay, dang, I just wanted to start this. It's like, why is this gotta happen? It's just like, why is this gotta happen? But I don't know, I'm just a firm believer that, like, you gotta be ready for a challenge, because the moment, like I said, the moment you start something, something's gonna happen. You ain't
Yeah.
gonna like it
That's true.
either. It's always something.
That is true. So for those that's listening, understand that that's a part of the process. Everybody has experienced that. So don't, when it does happen, don't look at the resistance as, oh man, this ain't for me to do. And now you ain't
Yeah,
even
it's
doing it no more.
I
Like, no.
I don't know, like, maybe it's just, I don't know, it's like, maybe it's just me or whatever like that, but I can guarantee, like, anybody watching this right now and you want to start something, say you about to start it, and I guarantee in that first week something gonna happen
No, for real.
that's gonna test you.
Straight up. So be ready for that. We say that to say, just to prepare you for it mentally. So that way when it happens, you won't easily get discouraged, quit, or check out. That is what's going to happen. And it's a part of the process. So when you face with it, just keep pushing through. That does not mean, oh, this ain't for me, I'm just about to quit. Like, no, it's testing you. You're gonna get tested on your word. So like James say, that same week, just expect something
Yeah,
to pop
some
up.
at least something. And if
Yeah,
it ain't that first week, I'm telling you, it's gonna hit you when at
it's
least you
coming.
expect it. At least expect it.
Yeah, thanks. Um, bro, before two more questions before we jump off here. Give us 2 to 3 keys that you gain from this process that you can leave with other people, that'll help them where they're at and where they're going.
I think one of the keys is, and what I've been trying my hardest to do is patience, because some things happen, you ain't gonna like it, but it is what it is. It's life. And then I would say discipline for sure. Those would be the main two things, because you got to have patience, but you also got to have discipline, because without the discipline, you can't really stay patient because you want to rush it. And so without being those two things, I would say that's probably the main things for even for myself. Is I have like other ones that I actually look up to, but I would say those are the main things, because you got to have patience and stuff you do. And that's tough for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And discipline for sure, because that goes back to days you don't want to do something. You got to be disciplined to do it.
Yeah. What's to help the people? What's some practical things that you can give them, whether it's books, audios, mentorship, whoever, whatever. What has helped you with your patience and discipline? Like how, because it's developed over time, right? But for someone that may be struggling with that, what's some practical things that they can plug into that'll help them?
Well, I still struggle with it myself, but I know some things. If when I do remember, um, say if I'm struggling with either patience or discipline, what I do try to do now is I try to find something that's calming.
Mhm.
It doesn't happen every time, because I just flip a switch and I'm just kind of pissed off. But like I said, I'm still struggling with it, so I'm not I'm not perfect. But I
Right.
would try to find something really calming. And like I was talking to somebody the other day, or like a week ago, to where I try to implement meditation a lot, and I get hard on myself when I don't feel like I do it, because I feel like the requirement is 10 minutes to 15 minutes, but necessarily not that. If you
Mhm.
just stop and breathe for a second, like even if it's like 5 seconds, just stop and breathe, it'll just calm you down. And so doing that, it kind of helps you remember where you're at. It helps you remember where you're going. I would say you have to kind of, because it's always something that's we're trying to get to quick.
Mhm.
And sometimes you just have to just say, like how you said at one time at the event when we was talking, you just gotta just let it go. Just, and just breathe and relax, because some things you can't control.
Yeah.
And if you feel like you control it, then you're just putting too much of a burden on yourself. And I would say just that calming effect of listening to something calm, or even just some music. I mean, I know everybody has a song that they mandatory go to, and it might be just that one song that just takes your mind off stuff. So whatever, it ain't got to be something calming to listen to. It can be some music, obviously not something that's cussing up a storm, because that's really just going to get you hyped, but it's not really going to change the mood. And you
Yeah.
kind of want to change your mood, because music, depending on the music, can affect your mood. The lyrics
Right.
can affect your mood. And I would say in those hard times, you kind of need something that's calming. And like I say, it doesn't really matter what song it is, but it has to be a calming song, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah. Another thing that's common too that y'all can do is go on a walk. Like just go walk around
Yeah,
nature.
you'll free your mind. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, we just actually came back from a walk like 2 hours ago.
Yeah, go on a walk. Like let go of what you're dealing with, like you just said, James, and take a step away. Because sometimes you just need to take a step away. Because you may been looking at something so long, focused on it so long that you just it's cloudy. So you might need to take a step away. And like James said, just go be calm, listen to something calm, go on a calm walk, whatever, to just kind of release what all that pressure and
And
let
don't
go.
speak negative on yourself either.
Yeah.
I had a somebody tell me that. Um, don't, because when you do something and you shouldn't have done it, you
Hmm.
started you speak negative on yourself, like, you're so stupid. Don't say that. Like,
Yeah.
that's one of the things I had to overcome and try to still overcome. It's like, oh, you shouldn't have done this. You shouldn't have done that. Or you just, oh, you freaking messed up again. It's like, don't, just
Yeah.
say, okay, I learned from it. I'm still great. I'm still awesome. You know, blah blah. Just try to speak positive on yourself because it doesn't help your mood when you're already in a mood and then you speak negative on your mood. So it's kind of like you just adding on and piling on negative effects.
Yes, I love that. Yes. Yes, for the bonus at the end right there. Um, who I can't help but notice the guitars in the background. Who over there?
Oh, that's Brittany's. Yeah, I don't
Hey,
know.
okay, Brittany. Tell Brittany. I done
Yeah,
told
I don't even
her
know if
about
she.
this
I don't know if
album.
she can play it anymore. But yeah, she's had that one and some other ones too. She used to play piano too.
Okay, she's a full artist at this point. Know how to play all the instruments and sing. We waiting on that EP, Brittany, in this album.
Oh Lord.
If you're listening, we need that EP in this album coming out, and James didn't get some features in there because James, in case y'all didn't know, listeners, James can sing to the TV. Yeah, he be trying to be shy, but James got a tune. But now, bro, in closing, what's next for you? You going for your pro card? What's next in with that?
I'm gonna give it another shot next year.
Let's get it.
Next
That's
year.
what's up.
Next year's a lot of change.
Love it. Well, bro, keep doing your thing. Keep being the beast that you are. Thank you for answering all these amazing questions, these 50 million questions. But no, y'all, I pray that it added value to y'all that's listening. We got some more content, some more value that we're gonna be dropping. James, you got anything you want to say before we hop off?
I would just say, just keep being who you are. Everybody who's watching this, just keep being who you are. Just don't let anything affect you. Because once you get started, just don't stop. And if you stop, that doesn't mean you quit. You just start over again. At some point in time, you're gonna get tired of starting over. So
yeah. So yeah, y'all like, subscribe. Again, if something resonates with you from this episode, please put it in the comment section. Share it with other people. Because our goal is just to impact at least one person. And you sharing it with other people, hitting that like button helps us do just that. So tune in for the next episode. But y'all got have a good one. God bless, and thank y'all for tuning in.
peace.